Hey friends, Ash here with Gents. Hope you're doing really well. Hope I didn't scare you too much there. Today we're gonna be taking a look at 10 different hyper versatile fragrances. These are fragrances that you can use in pretty much any situation. You can wear these casually, you can wear these formally even, you can wear them to the office, wear them on a date. Pretty much everybody you come across is gonna love these. 10 different fragrances here, lots to talk about. Let's jump into it. Now before we go over the first fragrance, I do need to let you know that a lot of these fragrances are better suited for spring, summer, and fall. At least if you're just going by the traditional sense of when you would use each fragrance, but you can wear each one of these in wintertime as well. Just wear a little bit more. And really, you can wear whatever you want, whenever you want. These are just suggestions when we talk about the different seasons. All right, first up, Yves Saint Laurent Y Eau de Parfum. Just because it's really obvious doesn't mean it's not true. You could also put Y Eau de Toilette in here. That one may be a little bit better for office wear, but I think Y Eau de Parfum overall is the better fragrance, and this one is the one that you should be using more often, at least my opinion. This one has apple, ginger, sage, and amberwood. It's an enormous compliment puller. This is one of the best modern men's blue fragrances on the market. And of course, when I say blue fragrance, I just mean a fragrance that's very versatile, made for complete and total mass appeal. That's what this is. The quality on this one is really high, and this is not the last Yves Saint Laurent fragrance on this list either. There's actually a few of them. So we've got this heavy hitter, Yves Saint Laurent Y Eau de Parfum, starting us off. This one, absolutely killer. You can use it in any situation and it's gonna work. It's got a nice apple opening, that little bit of fruitiness. It's got a ginger pop in there as well. Gives it this kind of sparkle in the open. And then as it dries down, you get that amber wood, which is used across men's fragrances like crazy nowadays for good reason. So there we go, Yves Saint Laurent Y Eau de Parfum starting us off. Next up is a fragrance from the house of Prada that takes inspiration from a very popular fragrance that was released by Dior. The fragrance we're talking about in this list is Luna Rossa Carbon, the fragrance that this is inspired by, Dior Sauvage. This has bergamot, lavender, metallic notes, and ambroxan as some of the notes in the fragrance. And really, when you say ambroxan and metallic notes, it's kind of redundant, but yeah, that's what's in here. As I said, it's got a similarity to Dior Sauvage, making this one a huge compliment puller. People absolutely love this fragrance. It also has a note of coal, but don't worry, it doesn't come across smelling dirty or funky or weird. Actually, a lot of people out there prefer Luna Rossa Carbon over Dior Sauvage. Even though Dior Sauvage is more well known, this one is a little bit smoother. Kind of takes the same idea as Dior Sauvage, but makes it not quite as aggressive. And for a lot of people, that makes this one work better, because that actually will give it a little bit more versatility, because you can wear it in situations where Dior Sauvage, the Eau de Toilette of Dior Sauvage, might be a little bit too much. Next up, a fragrance from the house of Dunhill. This one a little bit more mature than the last two fragrances, but still fantastic and highly versatile. It is Dunhill Icon. And if you have never held these bottles, they are heavy. You could crack somebody over the head with this. It wouldn't be a good thing. Wouldn't be a pretty sight. This one has neroli, black pepper, bergamot, lavender, and vetiver as some of the notes in the fragrance. And this one, from some people, draws comparisons to Terre d'Hermès from Hermès, which really is another fragrance that could be on this list. Now this doesn't smell exactly like Terre d'Hermès. There are actually a bunch of differences between the two fragrances, but when the vetiver does come out in this fragrance, you can kind of see what people are talking about with that comparison. This one, making heavy use of the neroli, is very clean, but then it has that little bit of a spicy punch coming from the pepper. It's a very sophisticated fragrance, very refined. Like I said, a little bit more mature than the last two fragrances that we talked about, but I still think somebody in their 20s can easily pull this one off. This fragrance right here goes perfect with a nice white button up and a nice pair of slacks. Dunhill Icon, fantastic fragrance, and at discounters, pretty affordable. Up next, a fragrance from the house of Giorgio Armani. It's an Acqua di Gio release, Acqua di Gio Absolute. Now I'm gonna tell you guys, this is not my favorite Acqua di Gio. Now, you're probably looking at this and you're like, hey man, why you got all that fragrance missing if you don't like it so much? And I'll let you in on a little secret here. I actually sprayed that out into decant bottles back when this was new. And so that's why it's so low. I did not wear this much of this fragrance. You gotta believe me, I didn't. This one is a little bit like the black sheep of the Acqua di Gio family, okay? Some people really hate on this one, but if we're talking just straight up versatility, and that's all that matters for this list, versatility, how much people like it, how easy they are to wear, this one is that. Easy to wear, people like it. It's got sea notes, it's got woody notes, it's got tonka, it has some citrus in there. This one smells a little bit like Giorgio Armani's take on Paco Rabanne Invictus Aqua. So a little bit of a similarity between that fragrance and this one. Does this smell hyper natural? No, but is this a really big compliment puller and does this work fantastically well for younger guys? Yes, yes. So if that's what you're after, check this one out, Acqua di Gio Absolute. It's overlooked, not a whole bunch of people rocking this one, but it works fantastically. Next up, a fragrance from Yves Saint Laurent. Again, yeah, told you there was gonna be some more YSL in here. This time, L'Homme Ultime. This one is a little bit unique. It has rose as one of the main notes in the fragrance. There's also ginger in here, there's grapefruit, and a little bit of woods as well as it dries down. But you don't see men's fragrances, men's designer fragrances, using rose as one of the most prominent notes all that often. And yet, in this fragrance, works absolutely perfectly. You might be thinking it's gonna come across powdery or feminine or like an old lady fragrance or something like that because it has rose, and if you're thinking that, you're completely wrong. Why would you think that? It's not like that at all. The ginger and the grapefruit initially are amazing. The opening here, fantastic. One of the best openings of really about any designer fragrance in my opinion. It just absolutely sparkles, leaps off your skin, hugely attention grabbing, so easy to wear. And the rose that's in this fragrance, really good, very easy to wear. It's fresh, it's lively. It has a little bit of zing from that ginger in the opening. Doesn't come across smelling at all like a feminine scent, so don't worry. Now I realize most of you out there, the vast majority, already know that, but there are some people that are watching this that are still very new and they might see a men's fragrance with rose and be like, no. L'Homme Ultime, absolutely love it, fantastic, check it out. Next up, fragrance from the house of Guerlain. And this one has a different bottle now. So I've got the old style bottle. It looks different if you buy it nowadays new. It's Guerlain Homme Eau de Parfum. Here's the old bottle that I have, and here's the new bottle, which if you buy it, it'll look like that. It won't look like this, it's gonna look like that. And this one was actually not called Guerlain Homme Eau de Parfum. This was Intense, but we're just gonna stick with Eau de Parfum since that's what it's gonna show at stores nowadays. Fragrance is the same, so don't worry about that. It has mint, it's got lime, it has vetiver, actually has a mojito note in there. If you look on Fragrantica, it says rum, but it's mojito. So it's this little bit of a boozy mintiness, basically. This one opens up with lime and mint, smells fantastic, very refreshing, very uplifting. You do get that mojito that I mentioned, but not a whole bunch. It's not an overly boozy fragrance. And then once you hit the dry down, you do get that vetiver that gives you this nice masculine woodiness. This one being a Guerlain stands out from the group a little bit. Some people might say that this one smells a little bit more unique, a little bit more high class than some of the other ones here. And this one as well, I think would appeal more to people in their upper 20s and above, most likely. It's a great scent, and another one that I'm gonna single out for being a very good bang for your buck if you're buying from a discounter. Next up, another fragrance from Giorgio Armani, and this one also, like Acqua di Gio Absolute, a little bit overlooked in the line of fragrances that it's from, because it's from a huge line of fragrances. It is Armani Code Colognes. This one has tonka, amberwood, and some citrus. The Armani Code line is more well known for being kind of a clubbing fragrance line or a night out fragrance line. A lot of the fragrances are very sweet and loud and made more so for cold weather. This one takes that DNA, makes it fresher, makes it more approachable for spring and summer, though you can also pull this off in the cooler weather. It does still have that sweetness coming from the tonka. Really, that's gonna be one of the most prominent notes in the fragrance. It has amberwood, which it shares with this one, Yves Saint Laurent Y Eau de Parfum that we talked about before. So it's gonna give you that modern, masculine sort of dry down. Then you have that fresh citrus right off the top. This one gets overlooked because it's that fresh offshoot and a fragrance line not really known for fresh fragrances, but this one right here, hugely versatile. You can pull this off almost anywhere. Hey, let's do another Yves Saint Laurent fragrance. I promise it's the last one on this list. I promise. It's La Nuit de l'Homme Eau Electrique. And this one I wanted to feature because like this one and this one, overlooked. Vanilla, tonka, cashmere, geranium, and apple, some of the notes in the fragrance. You wanna know a really simple way to break this one down, and this is maybe not 100% accurate, but it's gonna give you an idea of how it smells. This is La Nuit de l'Homme Eau Eros, Versace Eros. It's La Nuit de l'Homme mixed with Versace Eros, sort of. Or maybe it's just Yves Saint Laurent's take on Eros. That's maybe the easier way to describe it. Now, Versace Eros is a really well-known compliment pulling fragrance, very versatile, a big clubbing fragrance. This one does have similarities with that one, like I just said. It has geranium, it's got green apple, it's got vanilla. Those three notes being some of the most prominent ones in this fragrance, and those three notes being some of the most prominent ones in Eros. So really with this one, if you like Versace Eros, but you wish maybe it wasn't quite so loud and quite so youthful, check this one out because you'll probably really like it. Because it really does basically take that idea of Eros and make it a little bit easier to pull off in day-to-day use. Now, I'm not pretending like I have any secret information, but it wouldn't surprise me if this gets discontinued at some point in the future. This next fragrance is one of the most popular releases that has come out over the past couple of years, and for good reason. It is Explorer from Mont Blanc, also known as Mont Blanc Aventus. This one takes Creed Aventus, the most popular men's niche fragrance of all time, basically, and transforms it into an easy-to-wear, very inexpensive designer fragrance. Bergamot, vetiver, ambroxan, and pink pepper, some of the notes in this fragrance, and actually smells really good. This one actually got a lot of hate when it first came out. A lot of people were not happy. They were like, how can you do this? How can you take Aventus? You stupid motherfucker. So yeah, they got really unhappy about that. And then over time, more and more people smelled it and they were like, wait a sec, for the price? Really good. And it absolutely is. You can pull this off in any situation. Enormous compliment puller. And for a lot of people, this has actually replaced Aventus. Yeah, sacrilege. We have finally made it, to the last fragrance in this video. And the last fragrance is actually whatever fragrance you want it to be. Really, you can wear any fragrance in any situation and make it work. I'm actually lying. I'm full of it. It's actually this one, Dior Homme 2020. For a second there, you thought there was gonna be a heartwarming moment where I gave you encouragement to wear Secretions Magnifique in the middle of the summer. No. So yeah, Dior Homme 2020, good old Dior Homme 2020. Everybody unanimously loves this fragrance. There's not a single person that was offended when this fragrance came out, including myself. Okay. That's also a lie. Dior Homme 2020 took Dior Homme and completely did away with what made Dior Homme. And that made a lot of people really unhappy. All that being said though, if you're looking for versatility, can't do much better than this. Isoi Super, Vetiver, Cashmere, and Bergamot. This is like the quintessential modern man's fresh, clean, inviting, woody scent. This is essentially modern woods stripped of anything that could possibly make them offensive. And that makes this enormously versatile. Can you wear this to the office? Yeah. Can you wear it casually? Yes. On a date? Absolutely. Business situations? For sure. Formally? No doubt. You can pull this off anywhere. It's more versatile than Dior Sauvage, but it is just as much of a compliment puller as Dior Sauvage. So yeah, Dior Homme 2020, love it or hate it. This one, in terms of versatility, 10 out of 10. There we go, 10 different hyper versatile fragrances. You can wear these in almost any situation. Let me know in the comments down there, what are some fragrances that you find to be very versatile? I've got links to each one of these fragrances at discounters in the description below. As always, thanks for hanging out with me today. Thanks for all your support. Stay safe out there and I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later.